Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Andika Harudin as my lecturer. The Honorable, all of my beloved friends. Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Nur Qalbi. I'm from English Education Department 2019. First of all, let us say thanks to Allah for giving me an opportunity for making this video. And secondly, salam and salawat for our Prophet Muhammad who brought us from the darkness to the lightness. Okay, so today I'll tell you about the urgency of studying discourse analysis in ALT. Like what are the reasons for studying the discourse analysis? What are the difference between discourse analysis and error analysis in terms of their genesis and focus? Discourse analysis and English language teachings. Like what are the discourse and discourse analysis use the theory? What are teaching and English language teaching? What is the relation between discourse analysis and ELT? And next, the scope of DA, discourse analysis. What is spoken discourse or referred to the theories? What are the difference between classroom and casual conversations? And the reasons for analyzing the discourse, classroom and casual conversations, how to analyze the discourse, example for analyzing the discourse, what things are found from the analysis, and what are the implications of the analysis results to teaching and learning speech delivery in ELT. Okay, let's talk about the first topic. The first discussion is the reasons for learning discourse analysis. There are three reasons why we need to learn discourse analysis. The reasons are categorized as academic, pragmatic, and pedagogical reasons. For academic reasons, Wood argue that through discourse analysis, students are involved with the study of how, in social interactions, humans deliver meaning not as individualistic effort, but as a result of dynamic and sustainable negotiations with its interventions. This analysis is very useful for them to gain knowledge and understanding of the language function in social life and the role of language in the construction and formation of social relationships. Therefore, students are often asked to study discourse analysis as an academic course, either as a mandatory subject or as complementary course. However, each discipline uses its own assumptions, the analysis dimension, and methodology to study the discourse analysis from here. Students are expected to benefit from studying discourse, including gaining deep knowledge about the concept of discourse analysis that will be a guide for students to understand and do the process of analyzing discourse, and train and develop the critical thinking skills of students through practical analyzing the discourse as a simple research model done in the class, like developing critical thinking patterns. Next is about pragmatic reasoning. Structural sentence refers to the sentence generated based on speaker knowledge of the form of language, the correct word selections, correct grammar, and good pronunciation. On the other hand, functional sentence refers to the spoken sentence based on speaker knowledge and on how the expression should be used according to the context, as saying sorry to represent the apologetic function and by saying a good day to represent the function of speech. If your friend has knowledge of language function in English, he must start communicating with strangers by introducing himself and then requesting universal questions such as place of origin, work, hobby, and others. He should not directly ask foreigners in very personal way, like any question like what's wrong with you? Because most foreigners feel uncomfortable as liked by strangers. To communicate effectively in foreign language, the speaker must have two types of knowledge, structural and functional knowledge. They are important to use in social interaction to avoid pragmatic difficulties, like inability to produce sentences according to the language of the language in context, that can cause failures and conflicts in communication. Therefore, the information collected through discourse analysis will be helpful. First, inform learners about linguistic language features used in the real life context. Find out how the language should be used for communication, and recognize the most appropriate language of communication. Then the last reason is the reasons for pedagogies. Discussion analysis such as bridge to the connect teacher and communicative approach in developing communicative language learning communicating competencies. Those who have learned skills and language have to study the discourse analysis as an academic subject at the university. They are required to spread and connect their knowledge of discourse and pedagogical component in the classroom, like curriculum that refers to the content taught in the class, the methodology that refers to the way the content is taught, and techniques to study learners learn in context where language is used. So all the three reasons why we need to learn discourse analysis, because it's very important with the purpose of English language teaching from the form and function and provide an understanding of how to provide teaching materials to students. After knowing the three reasons that I have explained, the next step was to discuss the first two topics, the difference between time analysis and error analysis in the indicans and focus. It's generally recognized that discourse analysis is the main linguistic study that examines the use of spoken language and written by indigenous people. It is not surprising that the development of discourse analysis theory is strongly influenced by the development of linguistic theory. It can even be said that it is a linguistic theory that raises the theory of discourse analysis. Therefore, to see how to process discourse analysis in linguistic studies occur, it is better if we first examine the development of linguistic theory. Because of this cannot be separated from the origin of discourse analysis. This linguistic theory has experienced three stages of development, namely traditional grammar, structuralism, and functionalism. While in the field of second language learning, error analysis is a very important study to note. The language of learning language will definitely involve the errors made by students when making sentence or speech. Most learners, both language, will make mistakes no matter how effective learning or teaching is. Dulay, Bart, and Crescens state that the mission language learning error occurs due to the auto-transfer of the rules in the first language. The second topic is about the time of analysis and English teaching. There are three topics here. First, about the time and analysis, like using theory. In a large contemporary dictionary, there are three meanings of word discourse. First, conversations, speech, and speaks. Second, the whole speech or conversation is a unit. Third, the largest and most comprehensive language unit, which is realized in the form of a incomplete essay, such as novels, books, or articles. The time period of referring to the entire integrated language is generally larger than sentence, both oral or written. Discourse is a series of harmonious sentences connecting one sentence to another sentence to form a unit. In the book Alex Sobur and an Understanding of Isanul Muharrimin will be written, the ability to advance in discussions in definite and correct way, communication ideas, both oral and written, formal and regular, then discourse or discourse analysis is the method used to reveal meaning or communication message delivered in tactile and conceptual text. So, the meaning of abstractions from text message or communication is not only seen from clear written text, but more than that. According to Subu's view, discourse analysis is one researching or analyzing language used naturally both in oral and written forms. Subs also say that discourse analysis emphasizes the use in social context, especially in the interaction between speakers. In addition, Cook also argues that discourse analysis is a study discussing discourse and discourse is the language used to communicate. Next, the second topic of what is the teaching and teaching of English. Since 1500s, the idea of teaching continues to grow. According to Mon and Khairul Muslimin, teaching is a lesson to someone, students, by training and giving instructions so they get some experience. Then, if the idea of teaching then brought to the English teaching field, the teaching of English can be defined as the process of implementing the skills and knowledge of English to a group of students whose first language is not English through the application of three main principles. Namely pre-teaching, planning, during teaching, instruction, and post-lecture measuring learning outcomes. Thus, teaching English or ELT refers to the activities in the English teaching industry for non-Chinese speakers. Next, about what the relationship between time analysis and ELT. For this topic, there are two things we need to know, understand it better. What of these are: first, ELT trend or the theoretical perspective, and second, trends in ELT in Indonesia, factual perspective. Let's talk about the trends in ELT theoretical perspective. First, Mid-Ip 2010 said that most English teachers tend to teach their English separately than it used. As a result, knowledge of the context is less, and when it comes to time, the practice what they have learned in class in real life interactions, students have difficulty using a language that corresponds to social and is difficult to recognize their language functions. Speech handled by native speakers of English. So from the theory, we learned that many English listeners can speak grammatically but fail to speak English naturally. Such situations often cause pragmatic difficulties, like difficulty in understanding each other because of unnatural English that makes interlocutors uncomfortable. Second, about ELT trend in Indonesia. In Indonesia, many British students face the same problem as stated in the theory. This happens because students achieve a lot of input in the form of English, but it doesn't have an English function. Teaching English through the rules of drilling grammar and memorize the vocabulary has become the orientation of teaching in many English teachers in Indonesia. And as Mitibin states that for success in English, in language learning, language discourse should be learned with care by teachers and students, where the form and function of the language may not be separated in the classroom. Next, about what the relationship between time analysis and ELT. For this topic, there are two things we need to know to understand it. Both of those are first ELT trend or the theoretical perspective, and second trends in ELT in Indonesia, factual perspective. Let's talk about trends in ELT. Theoretical perspective. Mid-Ip said that most English teachers tend to teach their English separately than it used. As a result, knowledge of the context is less, and when it comes to time to practice, when they have learned in class, in real-life interactions, students have difficulty using a language that corresponds to social, and it's difficult to recognize the language functions. Speech handled by native speakers of English. So from theory, we learn that many English learners can speak grammatically but fail to speak English naturally. Such situations often cause pragmatic difficulties, like difficulty in understanding each other because of unnatural English, that makes interlocutors uncomfortable. Second, about ELT trend in Indonesia, factual perspective. In Indonesia, many British students face the same problem as stated in the theory. This happens because students receive a lot of input in the form of English, but it doesn't have an English function. Teaching English through the rules of drilling grammar and memorize the vocabulary has become the orientation of teaching in many English teachers in Indonesia. As Mitim states that for success in language learning, language discourse should be learned with care by teachers and students, where the form and function of the language may not be separated in the classroom. The language form should not be used separately from their function. So what is the deal? Therefore, from the point of view of the independent author, discourse analysis and English teaching were found closely, literally, and inseparable. Obviously, from the indication that discourse analysis indicates language and language allow discourse analysis. Language is one method to give message, while discourse analysis can be used as a tool to express communicated message. In short, the relationship between discourse and language analysis is a symbiotic relationship where people will not exist without others. The third topic is about the scale that discourse analysis in this section. The first is about what time to speak, like the reference of the theory. Oral discourse is an interactive speech between two or more people, which is widespread language phenomena in everyday life. As Cornan Cortin put, speaking in everyday conversation usually happens in real time. Face to face is an interactional, like the idea of oral discourse. First is language is used orally by speech in communication, and second is a series of conventional sound system, and the third real representation as Tolkien's. And second topic about what difference between relaxing conversation and in a class. The difference between classes and relaxing conversations in normal conversation, people do not have to raise their hands to speak. In class, conversation students are expected to do if they want to say something. According to Partner, teachers rarely ask the question do not know the answer. In real life, people usually ask questions to know something that they don't know. The third topic about the reasons of time analysis, class and casual conversation. There are three reasons for this analysis, so its characteristics in terms of structure, function, and so on, which distinguish it from regular conversation, encourage students to recognize and use the characteristic while in the classroom and want to engage the conversation in it. To see what's going on in the classroom and to avoid the final product of their teaching and students, musicality said the main task to analyze the disconnected conversation discourse is to provide information about the description of the exchange structure, discourse analysis, language function, and internal structure that exists in the language of language in social conversation for language pedagogical purpose. It makes sense that to say that identification, classification, and explanation of language function is a very useful product of discourse analysis for teachers and students. In this case, the speech action is still the most effective approach used by many language experts and language researchers to conduct product discourse analysis because the result of discourse analysis is produced. Both teachers and students will benefit from discourse analysis in ordinary conversations. Teacher can use this product as a basis for formulation curriculum, teaching materials, and teaching English. The third topic is how to analyze the time. Sinclair and Court defined the ER pattern from analyzing the talks between teachers and students. The pattern shows that the NS class conversation generally occurs in the following order, like I demand for initiation, like teacher starting the conversation, and R is a response to the student's response, and F is facts stands to for feedback, like to some teachers using extract of their data. The order can be apparently in this way, like okay, this the example T view the feedback, and Q this is a saw, yes it is a card. Enter the above a quest analysis by using SCP approach and find three different functions in the conversations. Like the five topic is about the things formed from the analysis or is the continuation of the previous topic, like key, the initial key, either blah blah blah. I also have some items here. Hands in what hands is what the teacher's analysis start the conversation by saying now and blah blah blah, and end up the initiation by asking question about something. What is it? That means that initiation brings the function asking, so initiation works like asking response. Analyzing of SA students then answer the question by saying so. So the response works as a feedback answer. It is a so. Yes, it's a card. Teacher's analysis admits the answer by saying this is a so and commenting about it by saying yes, this is a so. So the feedback works as a comment. The sixth or last topic is about what implication of the analysis of lessons written in LT. So here the discourse analysis and English teaching are found closely, literally, and inseparable. Obviously, from the indication that discourse analysis indicates language, allow discourse analysis. Language is one method to give message, while discourse analysis can be used as a tool to reveal messages that are communicated directly or indirectly to co-hosts. Uh, The conclusion is the relationship between discourse and language analysis is symbiotic relationship where people will not exist without others. It's like that. I think that's all from me. Thank you for your nice attention. I do apologize for any mistake. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.